Well, here's a snake. Sarnetta, this is a response to Sarnetta debates Christian apologists on the Bible. Um, I think this happened already, but he's just putting it up there. I don't know how he's going to go with it, but let's listen. We're 1 minute. I mean, an hour and 11 minutes in, a little bit more than an hour and 11 minutes in. So let's see what's going on. Let's see what's happening.
One at a time, one at a time, yeah. I'm gonna ask you. I'm glad you studied a little doing that. I would love to see that type of stuff sometime. You know what I'm saying? Use the Bible. Use the scriptures, man. See, I could be Vocab Malone without cursing. I go into the scriptures and I could be.
With all respect, sir, you can see it on my channel. I deal with him straight up. I wasn't in this form before. But he violated the other day. So I apologize.
Let me tell you the real truth. I do a show called The Smoke Room.
Watch for preferential treatment to our people. But when it comes to him, I gave him all the good energy that I had. You know,
yeah, no, the real truth is, so Sonnet, I do a show called The Smoke Room where I let anybody come into the show. He came in twice, both times. I let him speak. I make sure he had enough time. I never said anything. I went slow and low in the sense of just like taking it time, taking it easy. Didn't cut him off. Let him speak for 40-some minutes. You know, back and forth, long dialogues. Was totally respectful, even though knew he was an Israelite and he told me, you know, he's gonna put people in slavery and all this stuff. And it's you.
Well, he said that because that's what's going to happen. That's something that you cannot see or say that you don't see. You see it. You know the scriptures, you damn fucking devil. And he has to stoop low to go on Sarnetta's platform to get some airplay among Jake. Because truth be told, the One Westers don't even want to deal with you. ISUPK dealt with you. They don't want to deal with you no more. IUIC doesn't want to deal with you, period. We don't want to deal with you. That's why you sneak up on us back. What is 2019? 2021? You're talking about 4 years ago. You snuck up on us like a snake, but that's the actions of a snake, a serpent. That's why the brother called you a serpent. And Sarnetta said it was derogatory. No, he was telling the truth. You are. Call a spade a spade. So let's listen. Let's see where this goes.
You can watch the dialogues because I didn't take him down. Then he took those programs we did and did a program where he put me in a Klan outfit. So for him to act like he was respectful, it's just. But the thing is, Sarnetta's proven the point.
You are a Klan in a sense. You're an Edomite. You're a brother to a Klan. All right. You're a brother to a Klan. You're a fellow snake with other snakes.
Guys don't have a lot in your arsenal. Because you get destroyed when you don't have the microphone and you can't control everything. You get destroyed because the information you put forth is inaccurate and doesn't line up with scripture very frequently. So what you do is resort to slander and name calling. And that's exactly.
That's some bullshit. We say that this man's going into slavery and we pull out scripture. We don't just say it. You're going into slavery because I said so. No, you're going into captivity because the scriptures say so. Quick scripture that comes to mind, Isaiah 14:1 and 2. It says, and we shall take them captives whose captives we were, and we shall rule over our oppressors. So now you can say, oh, it's talking about the Babylonians. We're going to put them in. No, it's not talking about that. The Babylonians, we didn't take the Babylonians after they enslaved us because the Persian and Medes took both the Babylonians and we were under the Medo-Persian Empire. So how are you going to have slaves when you're in slavery yourself? Some form of, they gave us, preferential treatment by having us Cyrus to build a temple, but we were still under them. Okay, we were still under them. So when we quote Revelation 13:9-10, oh, it doesn't mean that. Isaiah 14:1-2, oh, it doesn't mean that. Now, Isaiah 14:1 and 2 in the general sense is talking about anybody that put us into captivity, but it's specifically talking about the king of Babylon, which is the current king of Babylon. This Babylon. Let's listen to some more.
Exactly the problem, and you won't debate me. I guarantee you'll find some reason for it to fall through. You will not debate me on if you can prove you're an Israelite. I guarantee you that debate will never happen, but I'm down for it. If you do it, because no Israelite is willing to stand on their square and say, I can prove I'm an Israelite, because they know they can't. Because all you got was a special feeling when you watched a YouTube video, and then you started to lead a camp based on.
Well, how can this man prove, how can the white man prove that they're Israelites or Jews? And the history tells you that they go back to the Cossacks and Josephus and all that. So these are not the people. We know for a fact that Edomites was forced converted to keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. So his argument, we can't prove we don't got to prove a motherfucking thing to you. Okay? We just got to prove it to our people, the elect. And at the end of the day, it's going to be found out. If we're not the people, then it'll be found out. And then you can jump up in your snake outfit and say, oh, we were wrong. You'll be saying that, you'll be saying that out in the field. Nobody takes you, vocab, nobody takes you seriously. None of the One West Israelites take you seriously. You're an ongoing joke. Nobody wants, no Israelite wants you on your on their platform. That's why, like I said, you go to Sarnetta. You know, the ISUPK used to deal with you. You used to call the show. The ISUPK ain't dealing with you no more. IUIC ain't dealing with you. We damn sure ain't dealing with you. Like I said earlier in this video, what, about 10 minutes ago, 8 minutes ago, I said you had to sneak up on us to get a debate. You had to sneak up on us, man. The scriptures say this. I'm trying to quote it verbatim. It says, what does it say? After the first and second admonition, reject. Meaning when you roll up as vocab saying you guys are not the Israelites, you're going off, we don't accept it, you kind of say it a different way, we don't accept it, then you're supposed to walk away. So why do you keep coming to us trying to tell us that we're not people? Who the fuck is you? Just look, first of all, your time is up, Esau. So you're not the school teacher no more. You know, because I'm white and I say so. Ain't nobody listen to this fucking cracker, man. And you tell them that Jeremiah 14:2, the Jews are black. Well, that's really talking about their condition. Which, if you get deep on it, yes, it does mean that. So, but if we go to Daniel 7 and 9, a man sitting on the throne with woolly hair. Oh, that's not the texture. That's the color. He's a white man. Then he has leprosy. The Most High is gonna come down with the disease of leprosy. This is why nobody takes you seriously, man. Ain't nobody take you serious. None of you One Westers should deal with, unless you're talking about them. And then the only way this guy gets hits or views is when he put Hebrew Israelism or Hebrew Israelites on his platform. And none of his followers quote scriptures. You go through a 20 comments before you get one scripture, and then that person breaks it down wrong. So you're just an ongoing joke, man. No Israelite wants you around. We identified you. Paul said that, 2 Thessalonians, was the 2 Thessalonians 2nd chapter. It speaks about this man that will be revealed in his time. You're being revealed in your time. You're not going to stop this thing of ours. Let's listen to it a little bit more.
On that, and you can't prove that in debate.
All right.
We don't have to prove that we're the people to you. Who the hell are you? We don't got to prove a goddamn thing to you, man. Now, when you go around the world, there's more people of color that identify with being Israelites that the JJs admit to. They open the door. They open their doors to them under the right of return, the right of the stranger. So the JJs allowed the Ethiopian Jews to come in, meaning they were black with woolly hair. They looked like us. The scriptures say Aren't you likened unto the Ethiopians unto me, O children of Israel? Meaning we look like the Israelites. I mean, the Israelites look like Ethiopians. What about the Yemens? The Israelis. The Israelis, you got Israelis out there with a woolly hair, curly hair, dark skin.
Heard you. And what a Christian can't prove is that God changed his mind and made his chosen people from one people to everybody the hell else, especially the slave master that was cracking whips off his children.
God didn't change his mind. You just don't know
I
God.
know God didn't change his mind. I'm saying that's the blasphemy of the Christian
He
church.
didn't change his mind. You're just not reading.
Nah,
You're not reading the
I'm
Bible
not-
right because you
I'm
don't know
not
God.
a white man who likes to appropriate other people's cultures.
Don't talk about white men and black men when you want to own black slaves in the kingdom. I don't want to own any black slaves. You do.
You're not gonna. Of course, you don't want to, because you're not going to own any slaves. If you're an Edomite, you're going to be out there in the field. If you're an Ishmaelite, you can be out there in the field. The only way you can make it is that you're an Israelite. Talking about the God never changed. Wait a minute. What's your theory, whatever the fuck you want to call it? What is it? Supersessionism or replacement theology. You said the Most High. This is what you said. I caught you in the lie, devil. You just said right now. If you pull it back, you said in essence the Lord didn't change. Well, wait a minute. You said throughout the Old Testament it's talking about national Israel, but the New Testament, especially Revelation chapter 7, when it speaks about the 144,000, is not talking about actual Israelites. It's talking about the body of believers, which are not necessarily Israelites. And you know how we know that? Because Dan is not mentioned there, and Ephraim is not mentioned there. This is why nobody wants to take you seriously. And none of you Israelites should be on Sarnetta's platform any goddamn way. See, Sarnetta beg for you to get on his platform, and then when you don't like it and you don't want to deal with him, he says, "I'll let you on my platform." You bet. No, we didn't want to. We never wanted to be on Sarnetta's platform, man. No one Western should be on Sarnetta's platform, because you're adding to the stew of confusion. That's all you're doing. You got people that said, "I used to be an Israelite, but now I'm a Kemite," meaning you were Israelite, but you never knew you was an Israelite. Being an Israelite is not a religion. It's not something that you practice. It's something that you are, whether you accept it or not. So no Israelite, especially one Western, should even deal. You shouldn't deal with none of these guys, Sarnetta or the snake right here.
It's the whole white slave. What I said.
Hey, Ricardo, how you feel? Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Everybody, hold on. Hey, Ricardo, how do you feel about Africans, man? Are they your people, brother?
The hell come this nigga with the African thing, and he's not an African. He's not an African. That's why he's going to take that charagma, and he's going to be destroyed. Most High is going. There's going to be a point where you're not going to see this guy no more. You're not going to see him. All right. That comedic shit is dead, been dead, man.
So more a lot of
Which are the people that you're gonna have in slavery, sir?
the ones that ain't Israelites.
And who are they?
Look, like I said, we salt and pepper through the whole earth.
So you say it's gonna be black, it's gonna be black people.
But I'm
Hey, keep it real. Come on, man, because that's why I love the captain. The captain don't give a damn. He will come up in here.
A simple precept. Simple precept. Let me bring it up. You're not going to have Hamites in the kingdom, right? Africans. Which Sarnetta thinks we're all the same because of skin color. Let me see here. Isaiah 45, I believe. 45 and 13, if I'm not mistaken. That's why I said in another video, I said, don't focus on these bug outs. Put your focus on the elect, or what you perceive as being the elect. We don't got no time. If we try to explain something, they just can't get it, you got to leave them alone. Even the Apostle Paul said that in 1 Corinthians chapter 14. So how do we justify in saying that Africans are going to go into slavery? Slavery. Let me see. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, the labor of Egypt, the Egyptians, and merchandise of the Ethiopians and the Sabians, all African peoples, so-called men of stature, shall come over unto thee, the Israelites, and they shall be thine. That's slavery right there. They shall come after thee in chains. They shall come over and they shall fall down unto thee, the Israelites. They shall make supplication unto thee, saying, surely the Most High is in thee, and there is none else. There is no power. Verily, verily, thou art a power, a God that hideth in thyself, O power of Israel, the Savior. So that's all we need. That's all you need. The Egyptians, the first captivity we were born in as a nation was the so-called Egyptians, which are Mizraim. So they're going into slavery. So let's listen to some more of this madness.
And say, hell yeah. He ain't gonna lie to you. He ain't gonna keep it 100.
So what I'm saying is, if you're not an Israelite, you're not an Israelite. You're gonna be a slave in that day.
How do you determine who is going to be an Israelite? Because the people that left Israel during the Passover, they were mixed with the Kemites. They came out. How many people? First, let me ask you this.
Well, that could happen. You had the Israelitish woman that had the son whose father was an Egyptian. He proved that he wasn't of the Most High because he dissed the name of the Most High. The name was given to all of them. He dissed the name of the Most High. Why did he do that? Because that the spirit of the Most High was not in that Hamite. Okay, so there's going to be a great sifting. You're going to have Israelites looking like Hamites. You're going to have Israelites looking like Moabites. You're going to have Israelites looking like white people. Hell, this guy looks like it. He can pass for Ephraimite or Simeon or something, one of the Latin tribes. You know, but if his line goes back to Esau, he's going into slavery.
I would say
how many people went into Israel? How many people went into Israel? How many Israelites went in?
I don't know how many.
About 70?
But
yeah.
What I was saying was,
hold on. And how many came out, Rakar?
You talking about out of Egypt?
Yes.
It was in the hundreds of thousands that came out.
Why do you think that is, brother? Why do you think that is? If only 70 went in and hundreds of thousands came out, why do you think that is?
Because our people multiplied very proficiently.
All right, so you don't think
that was a matter of hundreds of years, 400 years, okay?
The Kemetic people.
And besides, if the Israelites laid with Egyptian women or Canaanite women, their children are all Israelites. The sons are Israelites, therefore make other sons. So we were built as a nation through other nations, partially. Some of the sons of Jacob were of two heathen women. Rachel's handmaid or slave, woman slave, and Leah's woman slave. So some of the tribes of Israel, mother goes back. See, the woman is not important. She's just an incubator. It's the man, which is Jacob. Any seed that Jacob went and put his seed into a woman, that seed is a seed of an Israelite.
Who was having sex with the Egyptian woman and the Hebrew men was having sex with the Kemetic woman? You don't think that they was mixing?
There's no mixing in the scriptures. If you just said it. If Israelite men were having sex with Egyptian women and Israelite men were having sex with Canaanite women, the sons and the daughters that came out of that union of sex are Israelites. They might look more phenotype wise to the Canaanites, but they're Israelites. So he doesn't understand. He can't get it. Like I said, none of you Israelites should be on this guy's platform at all. He needs us. We don't need him. Nobody needs to be on his platform. You know, he needs us. We don't need him.
Right. So what I'm trying to show you, brother, is that that's why that many came out, because they came out as a mixed race of people. They wasn't all Israel no more. They wasn't full-blooded Israel. They were
there's no such thing as full-blooded Israel. Either you're
all right, but they was mixed with the Egyptians, brother. That's what I'm saying.
In the case, I said it before, let me say it again. You just can't get it. If an Israelite man lays with a Moabite woman, its son is going to look somewhat like, they have the features of a Moabite, a Chinese, so you can understand. That doesn't make the son half Chinese and half black, or half Chinese and half Israelite, or half Moab and half. It makes him a full-blooded Israelite. Or the spirit. It's about the spirit, which comes from the seed.
And they were mixed multitude. I say you'd be hard pressed to prove they left. You see where there are some people who are not Israelites with them Israelites. When it says an innumerable multitude went up to Sakar, you'll see that Sakar is within the confines of Egypt. But you don't see that they left.
It says in Numbers that the mixed multitude, they wanted to go back to Egypt, and it got to the ear of Israelites, and Israelites was listening to them. That's why there was a lot of murmuring going on. But it started with the the mixed multitude. They were bucking up against being in the wilderness, because at least you was there. They were all the Israelites even saying that we were eating good in Egypt, you know.
Left, and then they followed Israel everywhere. You see that Israel went on a conquest, killing a bunch of people.
Yeah, you do. Hold on, because you have the story about the Israelitish woman and the son.
I just said a few here and there. That's that one.
Good. I just said that I'm glad this serpent opened his mouth, stuck out his forked tongue. Right. He cursed, he blasphemed the name of the Most High because he was not an Israelite. His father was an Egyptian, a Mizraim. You know, she was simple for laying down a damn Egyptian, which he wasn't supposed to. So she has a son. She loves her Hamitic son, and his spirit shows who he is. There was a fight against him, a tussle between him and another Israelite man, and he, you know how you fuck your mama. Well, he said, F your God. So when that happened, they had a council. What should we do to this man? And the Lord said, kill that man. Why? Because you didn't put no speck on the Most High's name. Put some speck on it. All right.
That one woman is not a multitude, vocab.
But that's where they came out of. It literally says the mixed multitude.
That's what you call making an assumption.
Of course, the mixed multitude left Egypt and was in the wilderness. But that doesn't tell you exactly what happened to them. But ultimately, if you have people Israelites that finally went to Israel, and you have some of the mixed multitude, they had sons and sons and sons and sons and sons. They're gonna be living in the Israelite family, living among Jake. And when the deliverance comes, they're not gonna be beamed up, because the Most High is only gonna beam up the elect to Israel. He's not even gonna beam up all the Israelites. So at the end of the day, you can stick around all you want in the audience, but you're gonna get found out by the angels. The Most High, the scriptures say in Obadiah, not in Obadiah, Amos, a great sifting.
That's what I read.
Hold on for a minute. Let me ask you a question, brother.
Yes, sir.
My father's Dominican. Am I Israelite?
Yeah.
How do you know?
Based upon the look of you, your father was probably a Judite, a Benjaminite, or a Levite. When you go to the history, and that slavery started back in the 1500s, the early 1500s. I'm talking about 1509, 1510, 1515. The first African slave from the west coast of Africa, the first of them went to what? A lot of them were put down there in the Santo Domingo. All right, a lot of them was put down there in the Brazil, which is called Brazil, Asher. So your father was most likely one of the southern kingdom men. You either a Judite, or a Benjaminite, or a Levite. All right.
Because Ariah had a dream.
Hold on. How do you know about
Yeah, more.
The devil opened up his mouth. Ariah had a dream. Like Jake can't get dreams. Read Joel 2, read Acts 2. Type in the word dream and vision. Sometimes you have dreams, sometimes you have vision. Sometimes you think you had a dream and it's a vision of something to come. I had dreams before which didn't make no sense. And then I had dreams that I said, oh, that was a vision. It showed me something. For example, I had a lot of dreams back in the day. Every once in a while I get a dream. That's just a dream. And sometimes it's a vision. I had dreams of the ships coming down, destroying this place, beaming up Israel. I had them crazy dreams. So he goes, well, Ariah had a dream. Well, yeah, Ariah had a dream, which we believe is a vision.
Likely because of the migration that took place to that landmass. We find that the people who were taken to that landmass were of Israel. So if your father's father goes back to those people who had root were Israelites, would be an Israelite. That's
all right now. So that's how you can tell who is an Israelite. Because how do you tell? Because the people that come into your group, they tell you who their father is.
I ask them who their father is, who their father's father is.
And how do they prove it? And how do they prove it?
At the end of the.
And again, they can say their father's from down South Africa, but that could have been a Hamite or another nation, or the slave master, or the what do you call it? The taskmaster. And a lot of those taskmasters and those indentured servants were Irish, and Irish are Jake. Their line goes back to Jake because we took over Europe. So a lot of time, and even some of the slave masters was actually Jake. So they were having, laying with the slave women and having lighter skinned children, but they were actually Jake. Like this George Washington, he was popping his black slaves, and he had a son called what was his name? Something Ford. And this nigga is black as tar, but he looked just like George. Like if you dip George Washington in some black oil, that's what the nigga looked like. But he was an Edomite.
And how do they prove it? Yeah, and how do they prove it? How do they prove it for you? What proof do you have?
There's too much. There's too much.
Yeah, hold on. How do you prove that they are Israelites? Because anybody can tell you anything.
And that's true. If somebody says they believe Israelite, they believe they're Israelite, this, that, and the third, everything points to them as most likely being an Israelite. What did the Lord say? He said, let the wheat and the chaff, let the wheat and the tares go together. And at the end, they shall be separated. So you have people that have woolly hair, dark skin, looking like an Israelite, but they're Edomite. And guess what? The angels are going to separate them. You're going to put the tares in bundles and burn them. That's poetic for they're going to be burnt up in his fire. And that in America. Okay, the great oven is America.
Okay, so I don't know if you heard what I said to Vocab about what my doctrine is, but what you do is you endure to the end in the law, statutes, and commandments, and the faith of Hamashiach, and that at the end of the day is when we're going to learn. Because the scriptures say that the tares and the wheat going to be brought up together.
I just said that. So this brother's saying something good.
Whether that's you being of a spiritual defect or you not being of that seed, at the end of the day, that's when it's going to get separated. So the rule is to endure to the end.
You accept the word of somebody who said that I'm an Israelite, so you got to make
And this guy, who takes this dude? Who takes this dude serious? He's always mentioning you are free, you be gay. I challenge you. Nobody wants to sit down and talk to you. Nobody wants to sit down and talk to this guy. Nobody want to talk to see this guy right here. Oh, none of the IUI, none of the IUI, none of the former one Westers want to sit down and have a dialogue with the serpent. We don't identify you as the devil, man. You, no matter what you show him, he'll have no. That's it. Okay, we got like IUIC, right? I did a video on this, but IUIC goes into it a lot. Okay, bless them for doing that. They go into the maps of 17, 1800s, you know, 1700s, 1800s, because you had the Europeans, you know, going throughout different parts of the world. And then on those ancient maps, it'll say the kingdom of Judah, the kingdom of Wida, it'll say Ephraim, and you know, these other Israelite tribes, which shows you, which proves that if you believe those maps. Now you can say, now the snake can say, well, we don't believe those maps. Okay, well, we don't believe you. Okay, so now we're gonna go with that. Let's listen to some more.
I got you, brother, but I'm saying to you, brother, you're not answering Chanel's question. He just asked you.
I'm trying to answer his question right now.
Come on, brother, but you skipped the right question. The question is, if a brother comes to you that might be a damn Hamite, okay, and that you ain't supposed to let no Hamites or white people in your camp, and said,
the Lord said, Matthew 13, let the wheat and the tares come together, grow together. Because when the process of growth with a wheat and a tear, they call them weeds, they look the same. So if you try to separate the wheat from the tear when they're not fully grown, you're gonna pull up some of the wheat. So it says, let the wheat and the tear grow together. And afterwards, when they're fully grown, the angels will separate them and put the tares in bundles, and throw them in the fire. The fire is America. It's poetic for the Lord's gonna beam the Israelites up and the other nations. You're gonna have people that look like Israelites that got fringes on that's not gonna get destroyed because they're Edomites looking like a Jake. Then you're gonna have people that look like Edomites beamed up. Why is this Edomite beamed? Because he's a Jake. He just happened to look like an Edomite.
that I'm an Israelite, how do you make them prove to you right there on the spot that they are an Israelite?
You can't. You have an idea. It's a spiritual thing. It's a spiritual thing.
So I don't know. Did the chat hear me say that I would ask him where his forefathers come from? And after that, after he tells me where his forefathers come from, the rest is up for the Most High. I'll bring it out in the scripture about the wheat.
So you just take the word then. So you just take the word, right? You don't ask no genealogy, no family tree, no DNA.
Some Jakes that never met their father. There's some Jakes out there that never met their father, man. And that happens all the time in the hood. There's some Jakes that they get into a life of crime, they get locked up, and then they realize there's this dude that kind of looks like him, maybe 20, 25 years old, and then he found out that that's his biological father. So they meet each other in the joint. I'll give you a true story. There was a boxer named, if you go to Mr. Knockout, I remember he was good too. And he was in the prison system. He's back and forth in the prison system. And he met his father in the prison system. He found out, oh, you're my father, oh shit. So his father was back and forth in the prison system, you know, robbing and stealing and hugging and mugging. And he was doing the same thing. And then he went to a boxing gym and he had that toughness to him. And he was a good, they call him Mr. Knockout, because everybody he fought, he was knocking out. And when he went and tried to fight them top contenders, which he fought, he lost to Dave Telesco, which I used to see that dude every day. Dave Telesco, the dude that fought Roy Jones with the braids, with the corn light-skinned brother, looked like an Ephraimite. I used to see him every day. And he had fought this guy on ESPN, and he beat him because Dave Telesco's on a higher level, more experience. He beat him. So what this guy wound up doing, he was winning some fights and losing some fights because he was going up in higher levels, going into that, breaking into that top 10, top 20. But he was in between fights, making a little money here, making a little money there, 10,000 here, 15,000 there. But he was supplementing it by robbing and stealing, hugging and mugging. And what happened was, I forget the whole story, but he got shot up. I don't know if it was the cops or some rival gang, but he wound up getting killed. But he was living that fast life, you know. But like I said, that's to verify that you got Jakes that are back and forth in this prison system that meet their fathers for the first time. Oh, you're my daddy in the prison system. Ain't that a bitch?
I'm gonna read the Bible if that's okay. Between Vocab Malone.
All right, hold on. Let him read the Bible. Let him read the scripture, y'all.
Okay, right there. Matthew 13:25 says, "But while men slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat, went his way. But when the blade was sprung up and brought forth fruit, then appeared the tares also. So the servants of the householder came and said unto him, saying, Didst not thou sow good seed in thy field? From whence then have it tares? And he said unto them, An enemy hath done this. The servant said unto him, Wilt thou then that we go and gather them up? But he said, Nay, lest while you gather up the tares, ye root up the wheat with them. So it's not my job to go root people out and search their back family history and take them out the camp based off of my opinion about where they come from. All I know is the demographics in which our people migrated to, and I go to those demographics. I don't meddle with other demographics. I don't go outside the United States and say, y'all ain't. And I don't go outside the United States, outside of the countries where I know that it said that we were put in places like Fort Jewett, in places where the Akan people had a oral tradition that said they came up from north of Egypt. I don't go outside those land masses and try to determine who came from where. So when you ask me how I go about it, I go about it like that. I preach the gospel to them and say the people that came here on slave ships and were sent from here on slave ships dealing with the Hispanic and the Native American, I tell them they come from a people that are God's chosen people, and they go.
Let me ask you, Rakam, would you say your ancestors came over here on slave ships?
Yeah.
Ashrakah, fire spirit, or spirit of fire. Ashrakah. Ashrakah.
Were they raped by the white man?
There you go. I'm sorry.
No, hold on.
Well, were those white men that raped your mothers, were they Irish or Scottish descent? You know? So at the end of the day, the angels are going to sift the house of Israel from among, separate the wicked from among the just.
They raped by the white man.
Some of them were. Now you don't saw nothing. You better stop. Jesus the Lord.
Hold on, man. Hold on. So
like Jesus is a
you consider these people to be your ancestors, right? Do you come from them?
The people that came on slave ships, yeah. And guess
were they
what?
raped by the white man?
Some of them were.
So how do you know your great grandfather wasn't a white man?
Could be a white man, but he could be an Israelite. Could be an Irish. Could be Portuguese. Remember, those places in Spain. Oh my goodness, Spain. There was nothing but Jacob in Spain, man. You had the Moors and you had the so-called Byzantine Empire, which are Israelites. A lot of those Russians go into the history of Russia. The Russians were at one time called Scythians. The Apostle Paul spoke about the Scythians being blessed by the Most High, barbarians and Scythians. So a lot of those Russians that you see and those Ukrainians, a lot of them are Jake. I can't give you the exact number.
How do you know that?
My point the entire time was never, I know that my great grandfather isn't a product of something. What I'm saying is, at the end of the day, there's a message to adhere to, and you either make the cut or you don't. Well, that's what I've been saying again and again.
All right, gotcha.
At the end of the day, the worst show preferential treatment towards each other and tell Hispanic folks and black folks to look at each other the same way the white man look at his cohorts.
Hey, so
Hold on, guys. Check out the Bible here. Ezra 262, and Ezra 262, after they returned from exile, it says that they searched.
Why all of a sudden this devil reading up? He said, well, the Apocrypha is not canon. We don't accept the Apocrypha. Why are you quoting out the Apocrypha? See, that's how a serpent operates. That's how a serpent operates. I'm doing this this is a good thing to do because this kind of helps you answer quickly, because it's almost like you're in this thing, and whatever question that they pose to you, you take the question. And see, a couple of things that I said, he said the same exact thing. Before I said Matthew 13, then he quoted Matthew, and he actually read from Matthew 13.
Their family records. They had to go through the registration. Here's what it says in ESV. These sought their registration among those enrolled in the genealogies, but they were not found there, and so they were excluded from the priesthood as unclean. So the actual real Israelites checked the actual genealogical records of the Levites and saw that some of them didn't have them, and they kicked them out of the priesthood. You have a guy who says, my dad was Hasten. You say, welcome on in, Mr. Levite. That's the sloppiness of your religion, and yet.
Yeah, because the records were destroyed by the Romans. All those records were destroyed. We know through the Spirit, Romans 8 and 16. Was that Romans 2 and 14, around there. Them being without the law, our law unto themselves, meaning the law of the Most High. They know in their heart of hearts that they're not supposed to kill each other. They're not supposed to lay with another man's wife. All right?
What they were doing in 262.
They had to go in the temple.
Let him finish. Is he right, brother? He's going by scripture, so I know you got to agree with him.
Of course, that happened back then, because you had people Jake going around saying that they were Israelites. So they said there was a scattering of Jake, man. That's what the law of the stranger was all about. It was scattering. So they said, well, wait a minute, man. Oh, Cornelius. They got mad at Peter for allowing Cornelius in, because he wasn't, to them, an Israelite. He was considered a Gentile, but he was actually an Israelite. Those Greeks, like I said before, when you look up the word Greek, capital G-R-E-E-E-K, heathen, Gentiles, ethnos, goes back to the word ethnos, that come into this fold were Israelites that did not necessarily know that they were Israelites, like Timothy's father. I keep saying that. Timothy's father was a Greek. Why did was it either Lois or Eunice? I always get those names. Lois or Eunice was the mother and grandmother of Timothy. Why did Lois or Eunice, the grandmother, the daughter, why did she get with a Greek guy? Why did she get with a white guy? She didn't get with a white guy. She got with another Israelite that didn't accept the fact that he was an Israelite. Cornelius accepted the fact that he was an Israelite. He was raised up in a family that were, following the customs of the Greeks and the Romans. And he came up out of that. So he became an Israelite.
This is things when I was dealing with the high priest.
Are you asking me?
We gotta be right about
And he's right. It is dealing with the priest. In other words, if you was a Gadite, you couldn't be a priest. So they were checking the genealogy whether they were Levites. Not if they were, well, you're Judah, you're not a priest. You're Benjamin, you're not a priest. You're Asher, you're not a priest. That's what that's talking about. They were resetting up the priesthood.
We can't understand when everybody's speaking.
It is the children of priests. Right. The Israelites still today will call their leaders high priest.
Not just Levites.
My point is that's the carefulness that needs to be.
Now this devil gonna pull up two pictures of Yeshua, gonna put up a picture of Yeshua and Ariel, and he's saying the high priest. Well, guess what? The scripture said we shall be a kingdom of priests. So all the Israelite men will be priests, in the kingdom. So is it wrong for you to say that you're the priest now? It started with the Levites, but it's going to end with all the Israelite men. They're all going to be priests.
Be done in regard to these matters, and they will call themselves high priests still today.
Okay, well that's it. Okay, so we're gonna say bye to this double right here. Anyway, I'm moving on. I'm gonna say shalom.